Okay. This is my third time at this, and because I need to delete some stuff off my iPad, y'all. And until I do that, I don't have much time on here. But I got about 6 minutes. So I wanted to talk about emotional eating. Um, and I'm not going to go into a lot of stuff, but I was an emotional eater. And I started at 13 years old when my mother and father separated. And it needed to come. But it caused me to realize I can't control anything. At 13, you might say, wow, why were you thinking about that? I don't know. I should have been enjoying being 13. But I was such a kid who was always stressed all the time. At least I thought so. And I always felt I had to take everybody's problems in my life, my mother's, my father's, and I had to have a solution. And I didn't have to have a solution at 13 years old. But that's the way I perceived life. And then I realized that I was the protector of my mother because my father was not a nice person at that time. And our roles kind of actually changed. And I didn't realize it until I became an adult that actually I had been the mother for a long time. And then she was the child. And when I moved away from home, it was hard for her to deal with that because I didn't even realize that even back then, she looked to me for strength. That I didn't think I had any strength. I didn't think I had any wisdom. Now I realize I really actually had wisdom beyond my years. And but because I had such low self-esteem, I didn't realize that. And it was even a teacher who, when I was 20 something years old, she was my favorite teacher, and she was sick, very sick. And she looked at me one day and she said, "You were always such a smart little girl." And I said, "No, I really wasn't." And she said, "No, you were. You just didn't know it. And nobody at home told you that." She knew my mother, and she said, "I knew your mother was going through a lot of things." She said, "But you were so smart, so pretty." But because, she said, your best friend, who wasn't as smart as you, wasn't as pretty as you, but she excelled because she had great self-esteem from her family, and you did not. And that has carried me for a long time. Or I've carried it. I'll take that back. I've carried it. And so one day I decided I'm not going to carry that anymore. And I am valuable. And God created me to be valuable. And I don't have to eat emotionally. I can live in the emotion. Sometimes we need to just live in the emotion. Sometimes you're sad. You just need to figure out, why am I sad? Sometimes we get grieved. Figure out why we're grieving. Sometimes we're depressed. Okay, it happens. But why am I depressed? What's making me down? And if it's a legitimate reason, say, "God, help me," and take this from my heart. But if it's not, say, "Hey, you know what? I'm not going to be depressed about that." Because you can't change what you can't do anything about. So with that said, I began to emotionally eat at 13 years old. I wanted to control something. And I realized that I had allowed myself to be controlled by food. I was not controlling it. It was controlling me. Because whenever an emotion came, I resorted to food. I resorted to retreat because I didn't want to deal with life and the realities of life and what was going on in my life. And this video is not long enough for me to talk about my story. But it was not always a great story. But I thank God because I've survived the journey. I've made it through. And even in that, I was afraid to try to lose weight again because I thought, how am I going to do it? What am I going to do? And then God brought Saba 60 in my life. And you great people, Clark Bartram, a great support. So with that said, what am I saying? Don't fear emotions. We have them. Don't live in them. You don't have to live in depression. You don't have to live in feeling low self-esteem. You don't have to live on those streets. Just like you drive, I drive from Glenview to go to Chicago. I have many avenues I can take. But I don't have to stop on any one of them because they're not my destination. My destination is Chicago. Your destination is to be a better you. Your destination is to learn how to lose weight and live healthy in this life God has given you. That's your destination. Now, you may take a lot of avenues to get there. Some of us go fast, some of us go slow. But don't overeat. Don't emotionally eat. Don't think bad about yourself because your weight loss is not what somebody else's is. The way you look, you might be afraid to make a video. You might be afraid to share your pictures. That is okay. You will get to the point where you can do that. It has taken me a long time to get to be Lou and to love Lou, not be anybody but who God created me to be, Lucilla Richards. So, with that said, I just want you to know, make it a great day. because it's great. And God created us to live in the greatness. It's the day that he made. And so we need to rejoice and be glad in it. Love yourself, even with your failures, even with your frailties, even with your insecurities. Love you. Love you. Because I love you. Make it a great day. Make it a Sabbath day. Have a blessed day today. And as I always say, know that you are loved, not just because I say it. And the reason I say that is because so often we tell people that they're loved, but we don't let them know why they're loved. You are loved today because God loves you. God bless you. Have a great day. I hope I made some sense in this video. Love you. Bye-bye.